highways are backing up away from Lincoln. Choking is the fourth leading cause of accidental deaths. LifeVac is a life-saving airway clearance device, which has saved over 3,000. Hey, what artists you guys want to hear tonight? What artists y'all want me to feature tonight? Does anybody know? Hey, they said DMX. They said DMX. What's my name? They said DMX. Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango. I need to hear his side of the story. So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, and I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice. Hey, James, thank you. Peace and blessings. Welcome. Smiles, everyone. Smiles. Welcome to Fantasy Island. So there's this weird stuff on the internet that kind of rots our brain. This stuff like skibbity toilet. I don't even know what that is. Like, I don't know if it's like a song or a dance move or a picture or a philosophy or religion. I don't even know what skibbity toilet is. And the problem is that the internet is getting filled with this kind of stuff. And we spend our times engaging with this stuff that, like, isn't a narrative, it's not a story, it's not a game. We just spend our time on the internet doing this weird crap. But the weirder thing is not just that we do it, it's that we can't stop. So today we're going to teach y'all a little bit about what the hell is going on, and also hopefully give y'all a foundation to spend less time rotting your brain. So the first thing is that the stuff that we're going to be talking about today is going to be like really fundamental stuff. We're going to be going to biological basics. And I know that may sound a little bit weird, but I think it's becoming increasingly important for you to understand how your brain actually works. Like, what is it for? Like, why do we have these organs called brains? Once we understand that, we'll understand what is going on with all of this weird content on the internet, which, by the way, is like a weird thing to call it, right? It's not a story, it's not a game, it's not a movie, it's content. It's some weird, lifeless, amorphous pile of whatever that is not like anywhere near an art form. So we have to understand what's going on in our brain, how this content is affecting our brain, and hopefully that will lay the foundation for us to understand how to actually get over it. So we're going to start with like really basic stuff, okay? Which is like, why do human beings have brains? So we have brains to help us survive. And the circuitry in our brain is designed to move us towards staying alive, right? And a lot of the stuff that we have in our brains is kind of designed for that reason. So a simple example is orgasm. So why do human beings, or animals for that matter, why are they capable of orgasm? Why did we evolve this kind of particular circuit so that we can experience this maximal pleasure? It's because for the survival of the human race, we require sexual relations. And so without this fundamental thing, the human race would die out. Therefore, from an evolutionary standpoint, we develop this thing that gives us immense pleasure. Arguably, the most immense pleasure that you can get from life is orgasm. So we're going to say, like, okay, this thing is really important for us. Therefore, we are going to maximize the pleasure circuitry around it to induce the right kind of behavior. And it's not just orgasm. So this is also why, for example, we develop social relationships. When you hug someone, or when you receive a hug, you get this spurt of oxytocin. Oxytocin improves your anxiety, improves your mood, helps you form bonds, relaxes you a little bit, lowers your stress level. And why is that? It's because when human beings hug each other, it forms a bond with them, and this sort of helps them increase their survival chances. Okay, so this is the thing. The brain is all designed to help us survive. Even the negative things that we experience, like hunger and thirst, why are they negative? It's because our brain is sending us a signal, hey, this thing is against our survival. This thing, unless we fix this problem, we will die, like drinking water. Therefore, I'm going to make this experience of dehydration unpleasant. So our brain wants to reward particular experiences that improve survival and punish us for particular experiences that decrease survival. Simple enough, right? Now here's the problem. A bunch of people out there have figured out how to, in isolated ways, activate some of these circuits in our brain without actually providing us with the full benefit of what that circuit is for. Now, I recognize that that sentence was kind of long, so I'll give you a simple analogy, right? So there's a difference between calories and nutrition, right? So one of them is, sure, it's like energy and fuel. It's a partial way to stay alive. That we can eat calories, just plain calories, and we can eat like a candy bar or a Twinkie. But that's very different from broccoli. Now, our taste buds and our GI system and even our brain has started to send rewarding signals to us when we eat calorically dense food because it sort of correlates with survival. So someone came along and is like, hey, I have a great idea. Let's make a candy bar. And with a candy bar, what we're going to get is a maximum activation of this particular circuit of the brain. But we're not going to include any nutrition in it, right? So what happens if you eat candy bars all day? You'll get a bunch of calories and you'll get arguably a bunch of pleasure, but you won't get the full, complete experience of nutrition. If you eat a bunch of candy bars, you'll develop obesity, you'll develop insulin resistance, you'll develop vascular complications, you'll literally...
That was the Healthy Gamer. And he was breaking down some very simple things, right? About why we have a brain and why it functions the way that it does. And this is leading to our topic tonight. Because I've been in this game a long time. And especially relationship talk, right? When you start talking about the problems, when you start talking about the psychology and the spirituality of, relational conflict, intrapersonal conflict, interpersonal conflict, when you start talking about, childhood trauma and, familial dysfunction and how it affects, adult relationships, what you'll get is a conditioned response. Many times people be like, so what's the solution? again, let me just say this. Krishnamurti was very big on making a distinction between technical knowledge and psychological knowledge. He said technical knowledge is very important, right? We have to know how to hunt, you know, we have to know how to cook. We have to know how to build a stable and sound shelter. We have to know how to, craft clothes and shoes. And, technology is wonderful. It actually makes our life exceedingly convenient, right? Cell phones, computers, the whole nine yards. Technology is great, right? Technical knowledge. Psychological knowledge is the problem, right? So when you hear me reference people like Babette Rothschild in her book, The Body Remembers, right? And this inner child stuff. Oh, something happened to you in childhood, and that inner child never grows up because it hasn't been healed. You hear it talk about unrequited wounds and all of that, right? That's psychological knowledge. The problem is we've been conditioned for someone else to provide a solution to us. So when people get on the radio or podcasts and they start talking about relationships and they start breaking it down and people get triggered and they, well, what's the solution? No. Can I explain it to you? See, you are your only solution, psychologically speaking. I know you're not ready for this. I know you're not ready to hear it put this way. You are the solution. Zoe can't give you an answer that is for you. Zoe can give you a tailor-made answer for himself that might inspire you to discover your own answer. But Zoe can't give you an answer. No one can. Tonight's topic, what's the solution? I think it was Bob Proctor who said, you are the only problem you will ever have, and you are the only solution. Change is inevitable. Personal growth is always a personal decision. Do you see? And when sometimes it's clinicians, sometimes it's regular folk. They just online looking for the clever thing to say. Everybody is clever, but no one appears to be aware. Oh, the popular phrase now is relationship is a mirror. They have no idea what it means. Oh, the popular phrase now is you get what you are. Have no idea what it means. Do you understand? Some people lean too much on their education, their Western education. Some people are so spiritual they can't articulate what it means. Do you understand? But you've been conditioned to beg for answers. Somebody got to give you the solution. I can't give you the solution to you. I know people don't want to hear it put this way. Is your inner narrative sabotaging your self-transformation? I know. Research in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, reveals that negative self-talk significantly influences emotional health. Studies indicate that reframing internal dialogue through mindfulness can reduce anxiety and improve overall mental well-being. This evidence suggests that the internal narrative we maintain might not only reflect but also create our personal obstacles. You are the problem and the damn solution. Zoe can say, hey, do you engage in negative self-talk? Well, yeah, a little bit sometimes, I'm my biggest critic, and I tend to judge myself harsher than anybody else would. And all I can say is, don't do that. But I'm not your answer. You are your answer. You are your solution. Do cognitive biases and societal brain rot conspire to cripple your potential for inner awakening? See, because you got to go find your answer from somebody who actually did some self work, right? All you can do is parrot another person's truth. And it makes you spiritually codependent. Well, Pastor said, well, Zoe said, well, if you're spiritually dependent, you're going to be codependent in relationships. I promise you. Because you're not about that life. You're not about internal work. Do you understand? So somebody got to make you happy. It ain't going to be you. Because you don't see yourself as the problem and the damn solution. Empirical insight. Studies in cognitive psychology, such as those exploring confirmation bias and information overload, confirm that low quality, repetitive media content, societal brain rot, can impair decision making. This disruption supports the idea that our mental diet critically shapes our capacity for self-awareness and authentic transformation. Can embracing the paradox of being both the problem and the solution redefine personal responsibility? We still looking for a knight in shining armor? Or our princess to show up and nurture us the way mama did? There is no sustainable external solution to the problem of you. Oh, damn. When I come forward, I'm going to continue frying your ass up like bacon on a Sunday morning. Let's go! What up, Kinzir? I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was in the other room sleep. That boy, if I didn't hear that damn alarm, I was in the other room sleep. Everybody hit the like button, 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 hit the like button. Hey, support, support, support. Please support. We've had a very slow February. Best way you know how. You can go to my Cash App. You can hit the super chat like our brother just did. Who was the brother? Let me see. Who was that who hit? James was the first person. Thank you, James. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. Jack Brazen, what up, what up, what up? Let's support. I'm asking everybody, go to my Cash App, $sign Zowat Netter, or go to the super chat and support the channel.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living Pink. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Bradley's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living
Today is Thursday, yeah?
providing mentors and for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
My Friday.
Why isn't everyone my mate turned out to be a bad one? That's my guardian angel. Need one, should have one. I'm right here, shorty. And I'm gonna hold you down. Sign up. Be like you, but my hands gon' be dandy. I'ma put you in something. Like you can't hear. You need to take it in. You need got it. That's a given. You'll see. That's what I've been wanting all my life. Thinking about my little man, so I called my wife. And your dad's about to make it happen. What you mean, man? I'm about to make it rapping. Today I met this cat. He said his name was James. He thinks that we're a lot alike and wants to be my friend. You mean like Chucky? Yeah, just like Chucky. Dad? Yeah. You try and you fail. Well, you have two options. Well, you have three. One is you can just ignore it. And sometimes that's the right thing to do, because if you tried again, it would work. Most entrepreneurs who become successful have failed in a dozen enterprises before. Imagine you don't ignore it. You're going to fix the problem. Well, then you have two choices. You could fix the world, or you could fix yourself. And let's say, well, fixing yourself is often, at least in principle, easier than fixing the world, although sometimes the world is wrong and you're right. Not very often, but sometimes, you know. So if you're going to fix yourself, the first thing that has to happen is that the part of you that's error-ridden has to die. Is, well, why have negative emotions? Well, you get anxious so that you stop doing things that might cause your own destruction. Like there's value in the signal, but because it's so difficult to determine, like if you're arguing with your wife, it's like, well, should she change or you? And the answer sometimes is she should, and sometimes the answer is you should, and sometimes the answer is you both should.
Listen, man. You're the problem. Relationships are designed to show you how you're the problem. You attract people who vibrate at the level of consciousness you're currently at, right? Again, manipulation would have no purpose in life if you weren't trying to protect something broken. There would be no need for control and manipulation if there weren't brokenness. So many of us, we've integrated our brokenness into our sense of self, into our self-concept. So to get rid of, as Dr. Peterson was saying, to fix yourself is, he says, some part of you got to die. Your ego is fearful of death more than anything else. Death is garlic to Dracula. Death is a cross to Dracula, to your ego. Your ego fears death, annihilation. This is what the Hindus and the mystics and the Tibetan monks and all the spiritual, we have to have ego annihilation. Now, Western thought says, no, the ego isn't inherently bad. There are some positives for it. The ego is the thing that helps create separation and boundaries. I am me, you are you, you know. But the reality of it is, when I have these conversations, people are like, what's the solution? They come in my chat. What's the solution? I'm not here to give you your answer. You are the pupil and the professor of the University of You. You come here because there has to be some kind of inspiration, some kind of trigger that causes you to reflect. In your self-reflection on your generational trauma, i.e. curriculum, you are to study that and come up with your own damn answer. I'm not here to give you the answer. I can lead you to the library of you, but I can't read nor understand the books of your lineage. You know that better than me. Has it ever dawned on you? Why is it that a narcissist can go to therapy and out-therapize a therapist? Because they have a set of rules. And they have, you understand? They have a skill set. Let me go in here and learn this skill set and then manipulate the skill set so I can look like the victim and my partner look crazy, even though I'm the narcissist. Do you see? You know, narcissists are therapy proof, but they're not spirit proof. There's such a thing as a narcissistic collapse. The narcissist's Achilles heel is shame. Tug on that mask. As big as you claim to be, you are really small behind your aggrandizement. And there's nothing you can do to make me think that all these things you do to devalue, to minimize, to marginalize, makes you better than anybody. Oh, you done called out the narcissist. Lord have mercy. Don't do that. They're going to go crazy. You too small to affect me. I withdraw all attention, focus, and supply. And then go quiet. Boy, spirit work. You're the answer, but you're also the damn problem. Stop looking to people to fix it or to fix you. You are the one who broke you. Why? Why you say that, Zoe? I'll tell you when I come forward. Y'all getting on the lines or no? Can I get somebody to call in? What we doing? Yo, are we calling in or no? Ida, what up? You said you were about to eat. Are you just letting us know that you're about to eat? Okay, thank you. Hopefully you have a wonderful meal. I was like, it was hella random. I'm about to eat. Okay. I at least share what you eating. What you about to eat? I got some smothered pork chops. I don't eat pork. If it were me, I got some smothered turkey chops. The topic made her hungry. I got some collard greens and cabbage mixed together. I got some honey glazed cornbread. I got some mac and cheese. What is Galentine's Day? What is that? Y'all really, they done really went in on food. Now everybody hungry. You started it. No, I just started. I just started it. I said call in. I just said I'm finna go eat. Pass the Mac, Zo. Yay! Ba 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 ba. Mm, mm, mm.
or like a pair of glasses on someone's head that they are looking for but can't find because they forgot that they put them on their head. When solving life's problems, we often forget to look into one place where most problems originate, either completely or partially, and that is our own unhelpful thoughts. We've become so used to looking at life through one particular lens that we forget that this is just one possible lens and that there are many other lenses to choose from.
So, and I'm trying to give you so many different angles. Because I know people are going to say, no, you get information from everybody. You learn from everybody. You have to be open and la, 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 la. Self-knowledge, right? The accumulation of self-knowledge comes via the mirror of relationship. If embraced without judgment, you see yourself as you are, not as you wish to be. You see yourself as you are. And in seeing yourself as you are, you begin the process of individuation. That's what Carl Jung was talking about. An individuated person is an integrated person. Persona and shadow integrated into one. See, this goes back to my point about manipulation. It is so fearful and daunting and arduous, difficult, challenging, harrowing to look at oneself, to accept oneself as they are, right? So manipulation becomes highly important in order to get what your wounds desire. Can you imagine a relationship without expectation of the other? Can you imagine what unconditional love would actually look like? No, you can't, because your brokenness is part of who you think you are. So you're always in some kind of hyper-vigilant, self-protective, manipulative mode to get what your wounds constantly crave. You're the problem and the solution. The great Krishnamurti framed it this way. He said, if we can really understand the problem, the answer will come out of it, because the answer is not separate from the problem. We've made our damn partners the problem. If you would just act right, get some act right. Like, people want to challenge me and my thoughts on relationships, and I can see through your manipulation. I didn't ask for the gift. God gave it to me. All I need is 3 to 5 minutes of listening to you. And I can hear it. I can see it. I've been doing it for over 30 years now. It's just what it is. Listen, you want to have a real relationship with somebody else. You have to get on the process, on the journey of self-individuation. You have to integrate your ugly. So many people are afraid of their ugly. They ignore their ugly. They mistreat their ugly. They're dismissive to their ugly. They marginalize their ugly. They suppress and repress their ugly. And then blame the person when they show up and reflect the ugly back. I am a good person. No, you'd like to think you're a good person. Is your quest for external validation just a facade, masking a deeper fear of true introspection? Here's the empirical insight. Attachment theory research demonstrates that early relational experiences shape our later need for external validation. Studies reveal that individuals with insecure attachment patterns are more prone to seeking approval from outside sources, indicating that a failure to engage in introspective work might be at the root of this behavior. You're the problem. Hey, Zoe, what's the solution? You. Well, no, I got the problem. I come to you for the answer. You're the answer. Now, all I can do maybe is shed light on the answer that's in you. Have you ever looked in this compartment? No, I never look in that compartment. That's the compartment of, my issues with my mama. I don't look in that little box of my soul. Get in there and look at. Do you understand? Could dissolving the duality between self and other unlock the radical key to authentic transformation? Emerging research in social neuroscience, particularly studies on mirror neurons, highlights our brain's capacity for empathy and connection. This evidence supports non-dual teachings, suggesting that transcending the artificial boundaries between the self and others can enhance both personal growth and deeper intrapersonal relationships. Do you understand? I don't want to look at myself. I want somebody else to be the solution to my problem. I want my pastor to be the reason I got better. Don't put that on your pastor. Your pastor is really just a cheerleader. You still got to do the spiritual work. You have to embody the message. You have to have your own walk and talk with Christ or Allah or whatever belief you have. You have to embody the work. And then the pastor himself got problems. That's right, Truemonger. Is the relentless pursuit of quick fix solutions a symptom of deeper spiritual immaturity? We live in a spiritually immature society where answers are given to you. You think because you educated, you created the answers? No, you memorized the answers. You memorize the problem, and then you memorize the answers. You're not really thinking. You haven't created an original thought in your life. Come on, man. You're living a pattern. You're living in a pattern. If you live in a pattern, are you not a prisoner? Psychological studies indicate that an obsession with instant results often prevents sustained introspection. Developmental psychology research finds that meaningful self-actualization arises from long-term reflective practices rather than superficial quick fixes, a notion that challenges the modern obsession with immediate gratification. Is that not our relationships? All I got to do is act a certain way. Listen, women have learned how to feign and fake empathy and caring and kindness and sweetness and class. They've learned how to fake all of that because they know if I give this man this who is broken, he'll give me the world. Men, on the other hand, understand if I get all that I can get from the world, she'll see that I represent some type of stability. I don't have to heal internally, but because the world is rough out there, the streets is ugly. Ooh, I know y'all don't want to hear it put that way. She'll acquiesce in exchange for provisions and protection and security. But the problem still exists. Listen, when we come forward, you think I'm done cooking? I'm not. I got a lot to talk about. Hey, thank you for that super chat. Chris M, thank you. Big Zo, what would the Trump administration have to do to make you feel like they did a good job? What? Nobody wants to get better. They just want someone to embrace, but don't talk about the real issue. Exactly. Even in this chat, Krishnamurti rated the seriousness of the people. And mind you, Krishnamurti taught for 60 years. He taught for 60 years nonstop. Once he left the Theosophical Society, he taught for 60 years. He rated the seriousness of the people who came to see him year after year all over the world, in various portions of the world. He rated their seriousness based on their participation. He said, either we're doing this together or we're not doing it at all. And what happens is, I ain't gonna lie to you, I have a sense of, nigga, I don't want to do this anymore, personally. Because we grow complacent and used to it. Oh, it's been 3 years. Damn, that was quick. But, I understand what Zoe is talking about. But we don't continue this deep inward work, right? Even if I say, hey, you get the best out of me when we're talking together. Y'all don't really give a fuck, right? So for me, it's like, oh, nigga, you wasted your time. Time to do some other shit. Time to go in another direction. You see what I'm saying? And that's not a threat. It's just reality. Sometimes we get complacent. For me, I'm trying to push the needle to such a degree that you can't sleep at night. Think about it. I'm in the number 2 market in America. I see these people at these events. Tavis and them, they be doing events all over the city. You understand? I show up to these events, but I love your show. Get the fuck away from me. This is why I don't come out. I don't want to hear about you loving the show. Your ass is in the background, scared than a motherfucker to call. Get the fuck away from me, because you're not serious. Oh, that show is amazing, brother. Man, you be dropping jewels, man. Hate that shit.
it's a broken culture, it's a broken society, and hip hop is hurting things. But I also want to talk to you about something I've realized. Even if Black Americans are aware and know their history, right? And you can get Black conservatives who understand the history much more, who understand, the ills of the left and what the left has done. But still, in that regard, they bring to the conservative side the same bad habits that I was hoping Black conservatives would be abandoning. And what I'm talking about, number one, is conflict resolution. Black Americans do not know how to resolve basic conflicts. Everything has to turn into a fight. I hate you forever. You got to draw lines. It's like you're this gang or that gang. And you still see it happening in politics.
Is that Candace Owens? Girl, knock it off. Boy, Candace, don't do that. Listen, this is what I mean by articulate, but not necessarily intelligent. Gosh, and I'm not saying Candace isn't an intelligent woman. She is intelligent. But that wasn't an intelligent thing to say. Black people don't have conflict resolution. What you should say, you should speak in English prime. E without the verb is or to be. Many Black people within the Black community, American Black community, lack conflict resolution skills. But that could be applied to many other cultures as well. Some but all, some but not all. You can't just have a universal blanket license. Black people don't have, or Black people have the poorest, conflict resolution skills. But many people go to Candace for solutions, right? The solution is internal. You have to look at things from a more balanced perspective. You're saying Black people as a whole lack right? Conflict resolutions. And then I'm going to say, where's the metric? Where's the empirical insight that backs it? Is that thought undergirded by something empirical? A study? A theory? No, it's just your opinion. But in this culture, the content creator, their opinion is gospel. And I'm telling you, no one's opinion of you can be gospel. Only your opinion of yourself should be the gospel of you. See, this is how you become your own problem. I've been following you, Zoe, for ever since the foxhole and back in 2010. And brother, you changed my life. No, you changed your life. You may have heard me say something that was inspirational. You may have heard me say something that was probably something you were thinking already, and I articulated it in a way that you had yet to discover or hear. But again, I didn't do the work. I just said something. You did the work. I can take no credit for that. Do you see? No one is an expert of you but you. And when you defer and delegate, right? Oh, you're the expert of me because if it wasn't for you, I would know this about me. No, sorry, that's not how it works. How do cognitive biases and metaphysical insights collide to shape your internal dialogue and hinder self-healing? Daniel Kahneman's work on cognitive biases, like anchoring and confirmation bias, demonstrates that our minds are prone to systematic errors in judgment. Integrating these findings with metaphysical approaches, ergo, mindfulness and self-inquiry, suggest that overcoming these biases is essential for clarity and authentic healing. Nobody wants to be clear. No. A mask is a tool to obfuscate. A mask is a tool to cover and hide. In the Quran, they would call you a kafir, right? To cover. The kafir, to cover. Or munafiqan, a hypocrite. You want to obfuscate the real you so you can protect your inner childhood wounds, so you can manipulate and get what you want. You think getting what you want from an external source is the key to happiness. You don't see yourself as a problem. As long as you're winning, you think cool, right? But think of it this way. You're not growing spiritually, psychologically. And then when you get old, you lose value in a superficial society. In a superficial society, you get old. Ooh, the bargaining chips start to go away. You are the problem, but you're also your solution. Zoe can't be your solution. No one can be your solution. Self-knowledge is the key to self-realization. When we come forward, hour number 2. Thank you, Melanie. We got one Cash App. Melanie Parham. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else want to drop a Cash App? I'd appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Laugh lines and crow's feet are rebellious. That's funny. What in the entire fuck are y'all talking about in the chat tonight? Like, what the hell? I don't know what anybody is talking about. Yeah, San Francisco is definitely getting hit with that winter storm. We're getting it too. Still the laughter and helmet hair topic, I guess, is, I don't.
If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes? Financial infidelity? I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy. How about the heavy stuff? The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support. It's a very heated topic. Oh, is that right? Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I was like, is this something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed. Hit you with a bad pipes routine. How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches the nip.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man moves on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses. Yeah.
How do you write William so well?
So William, reason and accountability. The voice of reason.
What you are is the truth. Now, that truth is denied when you follow somebody. Follow a guru. Follow a priest. Therefore, one has to be free from this spiritual authority. Authority destroys not only truth, but your understanding of truth. So, don't follow anybody with regard to your understanding what truth is.
No, we got to play that one more time. Because, man, you may not agree with it. You may think, oh, man, this old obscure Eastern guru, that ain't for me. I need you to open up your ears and your spirit and hear. He said, you are the truth. That was the first thing out of his mouth. Okay, play it one more time.
What you are is the truth. Now, that truth is denied when you follow somebody, follow a guru, follow a priest. Therefore, one has to be free from this spiritual authority. Authority destroys not only truth, but your understanding of truth. So, don't follow anybody with regard to your understanding what truth is. Don't follow what the speaker is saying either. But what the speaker is saying is merely to observe yourself, to understand yourself as you are. Therefore, what is to be understood.
Pause it. We're gonna play it one more time. I'm sorry. Listen. If you out here copying what Zoe is saying, you not speaking your truth. Zoe had to go to hell to find this understanding. Zoe had to fail. Zoe was born in a horrible situation. Zoe had to grow up through some terrible things. Do you understand? In order to arrive at it, Zoe had to look in himself. Do you understand? We live in a society that says, you know what, I'll go to YouTube and see somebody that's clever, that's charismatic, and then I'll regurgitate what they're saying. You're not the truth until you cultivate it within yourself. Now, apply that to SLDD, self-love deficient. You can't be the truth until you go back to the source of what made you feel less than. What made you cultivate a worthiness wound? Let me tell you something, a great therapist, and I particularly enjoy Black women therapists, because Black women therapists are going to integrate some kind of spirituality in their practice. They're not just going to be all clinical. They're going to integrate some kind of spirituality. And a good therapist is, at their best, can be a great looking glass for you to see yourself. Do you understand? You're the problem and the solution. A good therapist can walk you through the situation and say, you know what, you negative self-talk. You got to stop beating yourself up. You got to stop being so critical of yourself. And they can offer it in a way where, because you know how it is. When you're in a relationship and you're insecure and you're wounded, that's a high stakes relationship, because you're walking on spiritual eggshells because you don't want to reveal the truth of who you are, and you're being manipulative. They're probably being manipulative too and walking on eggshells, and there's this power struggle. But in order to transcend that, you're going to have to go inward and undo some of the crap that you have identified with as being who you are. That's why you got to be careful of your testimony. Sometimes your testimony is used against you in the court of spirituality. Do you know where I came from? I'm not even supposed to be here. Yes, condemn his ass. Do you understand? Sometimes your very testimony can be used against you. Do you see? You are the problem and the solution. In an era of relentless information flow and rapid change, many souls wrestle with a paradox that disrupts both the self and its connections. The notion that one constructs one's own obstacles, even as one possesses the capacity for their dissolution. One may ask, does the way one perceives oneself and others serve as the principal obstacle on one's path? Such a question challenges the conventional wisdom that external circumstances dictate our fate, and it invites a radical consideration. One may construct one's own limitations and, in the same stroke, cultivate the wellspring of solutions. In a society saturated with low-quality, repetitive content, a phenomenon sometimes dubbed as societal brain rot, individuals frequently assume the role of passive receivers rather than active creators of meaning. Don't copy me. I'm not 100% right. I'm not 100% accurate. I'm a work in progress. Don't parrot me. Parrot you. See it from this perspective. Where I am currently at my stage of development right now, I can only see just a little bit of the universe of me. Scientists here on Earth say the observable universe. That means we can't see all of it. Our technology isn't advanced enough to see all of it. We can see the observable universe. Well, apply that to self. There is an observable amount of self that can be seen, but there's far more that can't be observed at your current stage of development. Do you see? We're so used to people feeding us an answer for us. I have answers for me. This is why I say I'm not trying to be right. I've been saying it for 3 years now. Listen, I'm not trying to be right. I want to start the conversation. Let's converse together. Do you see? In a society saturated with low quality, repetitive content, a phenomenon sometimes dubbed as societal brain rot, individuals frequently assume the role of passive receivers rather than active creators of meaning. This cognitive haze discourages genuine introspection. Instead, one might wonder what distinctions emerge between a solution-oriented thinker who embarks on deep inner work and a solution-oriented pretender who merely mimics the language of transformation without the labor of self-inquiry. Oh, God. Empirical evidence from attachment theory and developmental psychology supports the view that early relational patterns sculpt one's internal narrative, while spiritual teachings remind us that liberation comes from dismantling these inherited scripts. You don't have no truth. You got a damn script. And Zoe is here to call you out on it. Do you understand? Now, keep it in context. Somebody says to you, Andy, I hope you had a wonderful day. But you're not healed. So even the I hope you had a wonderful day is rooted in pretense. It's not authentic. You don't give a damn about my day being good. You're just saying it. Do you understand what I'm saying? How's the kids? Everybody okay? Yes, everybody is fine. That's good to know. Yeah, I'll be praying for you. You broken. You're not even being honest with yourself. You struggle with the idea that God is not listening to your prayers. But you're going to pray for me. God done gave you every damn tool you need to heal yourself. You refuse to do it, but you got the words down, right? Prayerfully, everything will work out for y'all. You're in my prayers. Get you and your contaminated, broken prayers the hell away from me. Is that wrong for me to say? Is it wrong for me to take that position? We got a caller on the line. Let me get my brother in here. John! Mountain View, Hawaii is in the building. What are your thoughts tonight, my friend?
The enemy has been beating the hell out of me lately. What the hell is going on over here, sir?
What you talking about? What you talking about, John? What did I do?
No, it's just like what you said earlier in the show. Yet at the same time, we hear what's going on, but we're not supposed to be paying attention to it. Or are we supposed to be using the jewels that at least trigger us to move in a certain direction?
Go ahead. I'm listening. Teach me, brother.
Well, again, if we have made the decisions to live this life, that means you've also made a decision on which direction you're going to go. Life is like a dance. In order to keep in step, you got to let the music play.
Come on now, I'm listening. Come on, Pastor.
For you to listen to the music, it too is going to guide you. And everything in the dance is not going to be perfect because you don't know who's playing the music.
Come on.
And it might not even be the music you even like hearing.
You don't know who the composer is. Keep going. I'm right with you.
But the evolution of things, if you're still just going along with what the beat is telling your foot to tap at, or even the motion that your arms need to sway in, it still is a guiding light that directs you and others. Because again, you don't have a good dance unless somebody else is enjoying it along with you.
Right. So you're talking about the mirror of relationship now. So it's not a dance unless you have a partner. I hear you.
That part. So again, yeah, I hear you. We're not supposed to hear everybody's words and take them to heart, because some things will guide you in the wrong direction. But yet at the same time,
come on.
If you was hearing the words, period, there was a gem in there that was meant for you. And you will have to identify with yourself what that gem is.
What it means to you, right?
Exactly. For you to use that to make the next move.
I love it. I've been waiting for somebody to come in and give me something.
The jewels and the gems are there. We see them on a regular basis. You see them in somebody's failure, and yet at the same time, let the drunk tell you don't drink, and all of a sudden you're looking at the person, and now you're ad hominem
attack. Yeah. And the drunk is giving right.
The person instead of the thing that's supposed to be guiding you to the way you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be the drunk, but be drunk in something as simple as happiness or joy. Because you know you love being there.
Right.
And nobody got to tell you how to celebrate. As a matter of fact, when somebody sees you celebrating, that's the first thing they do.
Go ahead. Come on.
But do that also in the place of standing in a grocery store where somebody is struggling to pay their own bills and decide to pay theirs because you got it. Not because of the reward you'll get from it, but I guarantee you that motion will affect at least 20 other people standing around that situation, including the rest of the people on the line.
I love that. I love that. Pastor John, but guess what you... No, go ahead. You finish, brother. I didn't mean that. Go ahead.
Be what you want to be in this life. It's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I love it.
You'll be guided along the way. Keep going.
Hey, Pastor John, guess what you just did?
Mountain View is in the house.
Come on, Mountain View is in the building. We appreciate the call, man. I love it. But you are the problem. And you're also the solution when we come forward. More from the VOR. Hey, John, that was fire, boy. Pastor John up in here. Who else calling in tonight? We only have one caller. And we're an hour and 20 minutes in. Pastor John. Chief Colas says, I love this show. Call in. Either we're doing it together or we're not doing it at all. Was I too harsh when I said, how I be thinking in my head when people meet me at these KPLA events? Was I being too harsh? I mean, I don't say these things to people directly, but that's how I feel. I be like, oh, that show is amazing, brother. Brother, you said, brother this, brother that, and thanks. And I feel like God has been upset with me lately because I've been upset. And God has been telling me, hey, man, this is par for the course. Stop fucking tripping. This is what it is. I've been in my ego and I've been in my feelings. And God is like, yo, man, stop tripping. Because in my mind, my ego is, I go isolation mode. My isolation mode is like, nigga, you don't deserve to be around me. I don't want you to, I don't like sharing myself and then people taking that and getting up leveled. And I don't like that. And God is like, that's none of your business. That's none of your business. Just, God has been mad at me because of that.
is the truth. Now, that truth is denied when you follow somebody, follow a guru, follow a priest. Therefore, one has to be free from this spiritual authority. Authority destroys not only truth, but your understanding of truth. So, don't follow anybody with regard to your understanding what truth is. Don't follow what the speaker is saying either. But what the speaker is saying is merely to observe yourself, to understand yourself as you are. Therefore, what is to be understood and gone beyond. And that is the whole problem of existence. That is to understand our relationship with each other, our intimate, our distant, and in the understanding of that relationship, the reality of one's own existence.
Man, again, you're not in a polygamous spiritual relationship with your guru, your pastor, your psychologist. You're not in a spiritual polygamous relationship with God and y'all. It's you and God. That's your relationship. That relationship between you and God, you, self, and God, that is it. Do you understand? This is how you learn who you are and what you are. Krishnamurti said it this way. In oneself lies the whole world. And if you know how to look and learn, the door is there and the key as well. Do you understand? We've been conditioned in this society to inquire elsewhere, to look outside, to find meaning. Do you know how rare it is for any one of us to actually exist? The numbers are astronomical. I heard Neil deGrasse talk about it. And he talked about just the astronomical numbers, the odds, right, of either any one of us existing, and we're here. There is something special. There is something meaningful. And as I've been outlining throughout this particular show, Western science is starting to lean into the more spiritual and metaphysical concepts about mindfulness, about self-reflection, where one begins to tap into the core truths of who they are. And like I said, so many people want somebody to give them an answer. Look at how I frame relationships. I say your partner is a question to an answer you have carried in your being for lifetimes. See, who you are as a being is an accumulation of lives. And when we say accumulation of lives, I'm talking about consciously, right? Where you are consciously right now. It has taken you a long time to get to this level of consciousness, right? You're still a work in progress. You may have to reincarnate a few more times to get a few more nuggets of understanding. But the reality of it is, you live in this time to discover the truth of what it means to love, the truth of what it means to share, to give, not only to others, but to self-compassion, self-empathy. So many people will allow those early childhood moments to anchor us in our understanding of ourselves, when in fact, they're not designed to anchor you in your identity. It is but a type of spiritual curriculum that must be studied and graduated from, matriculated from. Everything has a purpose and a reason. Even the hard, difficult things you went through in early childhood. You're supposed to find what we talked about. I think it was yesterday when we talked about escape velocity, the gravity of trauma, the gravity of emotional neglect, the gravity of abuse. We're supposed to, and believe me, we have the power and the agency to do it. We're supposed to develop from within to build up that escape velocity from the gravity of trauma. When we come forward, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, will continue to cook. You can believe that. Ooh.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with VIN News. President Trump is planning an executive order on D.C. crime and homelessness, pushing tougher gun crime penalties and clearing homeless camps. Black Mayor Muriel Bowser says she's unaware of details but has discussed crime prosecution with the administration. Wall Street is closing with stocks higher. Stocks went higher after President Trump ordered reciprocal tariffs on all trading partners. Trump also suggested that more tariffs are on the way, including ones on auto imports. Danielle Sassoon, the lead prosecutor in Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams' corruption case, has resigned instead of dropping charges. She did not mention the case in her resignation letter. And New York City leaders, including Brad Lander and Al Sharpton, are pushing back against President Trump's move to curb DEI efforts. Lander says companies like Walmart and Amazon are already rolling back diversity programs despite proof they boost performance. I'm Amber Payton on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811.
Da-da, da-da.
To the 100 million people who owe the IRS money, this message is for you. We've helped tens of thousands of people close the door on their tax debt. So if you feel like you're stuck in a hole with IRS tax debt, then this is the easiest way to get a resolution quickly. To qualify for a no-pay or low-pay resolution, visit taxclosure.org to get free from the IRS once and for all. So keep your bank accounts in order, so secure tax closure is your safe backyard. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a whole lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, who saw that clip, man? Did you guys see that clip? I think some of you guys are following me. Who saw that clip? Did you guys see that clip of my son where homeboy was doing the commentation, where he was talking about my son. Who saw that clip? I think I sent it out. I think I posted it too. It was a highlight clip of my son. That shit was crazy, right? My son, I said, man, good job, boy. He was like, that guy reached out and asked me if he could do a highlight. I was like, what? I said, good job. I done watched it like 5 times. I was like, man, this is cool. His commentary is crazy. Boy. So does niggas done started something? What do you mean? Making Papa proud. Yeah. Where can I see it? It's on my Instagram. But it's dope. I was like, yo. I loved it. I found it to be quite entertaining. Oh, bro, I don't do Instagram. I'm sorry. I posted it on my Facebook page too. Thank you, Nzinga.
Absolutely, that's so spot on. We have this saying: we bury our unfinished business. We date our unfinished business too. So if you, let's say, earlier in your life, you were around someone who was neglectful, somebody who drank too much, somebody who lost their temper, somebody who wasn't honest, somebody who wasn't reliable. We think when we're dating as adults, like, I want the opposite of that. I want someone where I feel safe, secure, there's trust. But what happens is, unconsciously, again, if we haven't done the work, our unfinished business, we actually, our unconscious says, oh, you look familiar. Come closer. So on the surface, they don't look like that person. But then when you get to know them, you're a month in, you're 3 months in, you're 6 months in, you think, wow, that person reminds me of someone. This person feels so familiar. And that's why I was drawn to this person. It turns out this person is very much like what I grew up with, is very much like the person who hurt me growing up. So if you do the work, you're able to see, oh, that person, I see why I'm drawn to them, but I'm not drawn to them in a healthy way. And then if you do even more work, you're not even drawn to those people anymore. Now you're drawn to healthy people, stable people, flexible people, emotionally generous people, people whose values align with yours. That's who you're drawn to. So you have to do the work.
Yeah.
And I agree with what she's saying about doing the work, but where I disagree, it's not so linear, cut and dry. Do you understand? Like, oh, you're attracted to the person that hurt you. That's partially true. Oftentimes, we make a conscious effort to go in the opposite direction of what hurt us. And we're clear about what that looks and feels like. Here's where the rubber meets the road. We'll say we want different than our known, and we'll go after it. But upon getting it, it's foreign. It doesn't feel right. It takes adjustment. It takes time to be like, oh, this is what somebody loving me feels like. And if you have insecure attachment style, you may still rebuke that. You may push that away because it's not your norm. So you have to be careful in framing. So it's framed like, oh no, I want something better for myself. Listen, this is no overnight. Listen, healing. We're gonna pull back on the idea that healing is forever, right? We're gonna pull back on the idea that healing is forever, but healing is not overnight. It's not. You know what? Now that I see how I was raised and what I modeled, I'll just go for the opposite. I wish it was that simple. It's not. You literally have to reprogram yourself. And many people have been conditioned a certain way to behave a certain way for decades. This is why the ancients didn't consider you an adult until you were 40. Do you see? Like, you have to go in and undo some things. And that's not necessarily, a 3-day weekend. That's not that, right? When one encounters inner turmoil, one may ask, at what moment does one adopt the role of the problem rather than the solution? This inquiry forces a confrontation with self-imposed limitations. It suggests that the process of transformation arises not from seeking external peace, but from engaging in a relentless, honest exploration of one's own mental models, a process that draws on the insights of many people's work. I mean, we can go Krishnamurti, Daniel Commons, David R. Hawkins, Robert Anton Wilson, Piaget, Jean Piaget. We could go Carl Rogers. We can keep going, right? But when we look at Daniel Kahneman's work on cognitive biases and Jean Piaget's developmental observations, you get to see some things, right? Contemporary thinkers such as Rachel Hollis and Michael J. Tamura challenge conventional paradigms by asserting that the responsibility for change rests solely within. You are the problem and the solution. Stop looking for people to give you an answer to you. Only you can cultivate that. Everything outside of you is but a template. You are the real answer to your issues. I know you don't want to hear it put that way, but that's what it is. Right? Rachel Hollis and Michael J. Tamura, their message resonates with the provocative notion that the only obstacle one will ever face exists within one's own mind. And the only pathway forward must emerge from personal decision and action. In light of this, one might query, does one's quest for externally sourced solutions merely mask a deeper spiritual immaturity, a reluctance to emerge or a reluctance to engage in the arduous work of introspection. One might further consider the implications of behaviorist insights from B.F. Skinner alongside of metaphysical teachings of non-dual masters such as Ramana Maharishi and Thich Nhat Hanh. Can the scientific process of trial and error and eventual adaptation coexist with the spiritual imperative to dissolve the boundaries between the self and the other? That's what you were here for. You were born to deconstruct what you modeled. I know it's a hard thing. You have to deconstruct it. When I come forward, I'm going back to the phone lines. I sure as heck learned how I communicate my needs more honestly. I do it without whining. One bite at a time. How many fingers we hold? Oh, that's funny, Nzinga. Oh, hell no. Say, Drake. Oh, that's funny. That was funny, Nzinga. 'Oz. That's cool. $30. 30 seconds.
Here we are in the new year, and many of you will be motivated to make some changes in your lives. This could be starting a new good habit or stopping an old bad habit. Though, as I've said before, you'll get more bang for your disciplined buck by stopping that bad habit than starting that good one. In any case, today I'm going to be speaking on where the battle for this behavioral change is so often won or lost and how best to emerge victorious. Now, in my personal and professional experience, a lot of the issues that people run into with respect to behavioral change take place in this 10-second window of time before they decide to do or not do something. The outcome of this 10-second battle often determines what people will do for the next hour or so. And what people do for the next hour or so can either solidify a behavior into a habit just a little bit more or undermine good progress made up until that point. Both virtues and vices are habits.
Wow. I love Orion Taraban Psych Hacks. Check him out on YouTube, right? Check him out. Orion Taraban. We got to call her online. I want to get him in here. JW from South Central Los Angeles. What are your thoughts? What say ye?
Hey, how you doing, though?
I'm alive and well, brother. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm pretty much the same, man. Blessed by your favorite in spite of myself, man.
Come on, man. I love to hear that, man. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Well, you know, man, it's like this, man. Let me gather my thoughts, because I was reading something that I wanted to bring to your attention. As you know, something I read, that's like a book that refers to Christ speaking to you again, and the verse has been said, "And I smile when you think loving thoughts of me. My spirit, who lives within you, helps you to think my thoughts. You thinking, as your thinking goes, so goes your entire being." And that's the key word. As you think, so goes your being. So, as your subject matter was saying about, when you make this process, which takes time, and you got to reach within yourself and do that self, what's the term that you use that cross my mind? You said it before I said it, because I said it before you said it, which was, that deconstruct, but reprogram.
Right.
Because we've been conditioned or brainwashed, because of the circumstances, the way how we were raised, and that came with time.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take time for us to deprogram our thoughts and create our own solution or answer, because we are the problem, but we got to write our own story and come up with the solution, and that's to go within.
Right.
And the bottom line is what I always say, when I call in, my main point is process. Everything takes time. Process.
Right.
And that's the bottom line, brother. That's where I'm going to land at. Be blessed, man.
Man, come on, JW. You know I love you, man. Come on. You always bring South Central, man, in the building.
I need help. Man, you be blessing me, my brother. You just don't know. I got a lot to say, but anyway, have a good one.
Wait. Don't leave just yet. You need help with what, brother? You my brother. What do you need help with, sir?
Oh, now, I got an hospital, but I had mentioned my cousin, which is my aunt's daughter, and I said I started listening to your show a while ago, 2 years ago. Anyway, she's narcissistic, and I realized that by paying to different traits, and you confirm that how you just put it in that technical term language, and different philosophers and professors and et cetera, or doctors or therapists. And he confirmed that. I'm like, I knew something was going on, and this brother just, pretty much educated me by framing it in those terms. And I realized the other department, which happened to unfriend me, I was on this brother since junior high school.
I'm blocking him. It hurts my heart, but he's narcissistic, and I will call and try to, reach out, but my mindset is, if I never speak to him again, oh well. But still yet, being genuine, and I really care about him and love him, but, as they say, there's fair weather friends, or there's a season, and all that, and people come and go, so, et cetera. I'm paraphrasing, but you get the point.
No, I get it.
That's just where I'm at. Yeah.
Well, I just say this, man. Let me just tell you this, brother. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself.
Patient with myself and my cousin, because now she's reaching out to me because the mom is sick, and she shares some things to me, and I was able to identify and just listen, real talk, and just pay attention and try to, make comments here and there. But man, it's because of you. I'm trained enough to do this in an intelligent manner, and a patient and humane manner. Humanity. I try to let her know we all are flawed, and human nature. You gotta be patient with your mama. We gotta be patient with each other.
That's right.
To my cousin and I, so as family, we gotta stick together.
That's right, bro.
All are human beings. It's a human experience, man.
JW, what? Come on, South Central. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in. JW, always a great call. Love that, brother. Man, it's listen, man, it's been a deep topic tonight, because I know a lot of people don't want to take on the mantle of self-inquiry, and then listen, a lot of times we're defensive because we don't want to be seen as wrong, right? Right? We don't want to be seen as wrong, and wrong is flawed and less than, right? So a lot of times that's why we can't handle criticism, whether it's constructive or negative, whatever. Many people can't accept it because there's this insecurity of I'm not enough anyway, and now somebody sees me, and it's almost like being exposed when someone is talking about what could potentially be wrong with another. Here's the thing: you are the problem and the solution. If you change your perspective, you devalue how others think of you in terms of, you know what I'm saying? Like where your sense of self-worth and self-esteem comes from. You devalue that in others. In other words, you get to think what you want to think about me, and that's fine. But what you think about me is not the fuel I need in order to feel good about me. You depower that. You devalue that, and that's okay, right? The flip side of that is, in order to feel good about oneself, one has to feel good about embracing one's total self, the whole self. When external chaos beckons, what practices permit one to reclaim inner peace rather than wandering in search of solace amid external distractions? I had somebody tell me once, I'm going to go where I'm wanted. And they meant going to another person. They didn't mean going inside. They meant going to another person. Sometimes when you point out other people's flaws, right, that is an attack on them, right? This is what I see. This is what I've interpreted as an issue with you. How dare you? I'm going to go to where I'm wanted. What that really means is I'm going to go to where this person sees nothing wrong with me. This person only sees my persona, my mask. They don't see my shadow. You see my shadow. See, when you're in a relationship with somebody, and I mean a close, meaningful relationship, you gonna see some shadow. And people keep trying to create this delusional relationship where the shadow is somehow Harry Potter hidden in the basement somewhere. This is not how it works. the closer you get, the more shadow is revealed. I promise you. Listen, I started the conversation. It's up to you to finish it. I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Today is my Friday. I'm off for the rest of the weekend. I'll be back Monday with a whole slew of new topics. All right, deuces. Boom. Love y'all. Deuces.